Hello everyone and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast as part of a Hilium space edition or series. This audio podcast as part of Calibrated Morphology, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. And this audio a little bit in around Haematuria, sort of as in around the in around an overview an overview or a summary. So number one, suspect or high risk patients or recipients should be provided with the education and sort of understanding on the biochemical sort of parameters in lay terms in order to achieve best practice. Number two, sort of awareness needs to include signposting and collaborative efforts between scientists and laboratory specialists and secondary care sector healthcare professionals. Number three, more point of care testing or POC collaborations are required in community. Number four, scientists that have sort of knowledge in around the hematological and microbiological elements to hematuria and sort of and should be sort of active in prompting more updates in around hematuria, and then finally sort of in around as part of the summary, sort of absence of data on the impact of delayed detection on health outcomes and cost over the long term in the long term around hematuria should be factored into sort of practices um, and just to sort of iterate on the aspects around hematuria and sort of monitoring. So persistent unseen hematuria with or without proteinuria should stimulate investigation for potential urinary tract malignancy in amongst varying age groups and sort of populations. And secondly, sort of consistent unseen sort of hematuria in the absence of proteinuria should be followed up sort of annually with repeat investigations for hematuria, proteinuria, or albuminuria, sort of GFR or EGFR, and where the sort of symptomologies around hematuria where the symptomologies around hematuria can vary, but can also be continual. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of the Hilium Space edition. This audio podcast as part of the Calibrated Morphology. This audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production.